All right, let's. I don't think it's live. Oh, there we go. All right, so I am using the Google Hangouts for a change. I want to see what the ability is here with Google Hangouts. That is why I am I'm doing this instead. Well, it looks like I can't get the camera to work in the little corner. I thought I could do that, but it doesn't look like I am. Once again, this is release day for June 14th. I do this every week for fun. I mostly do it to keep up with new releases of what's going on and have a little fun with it. I do not think I have a camera going in the corner. And I am trying Google Hangouts for the first time doing this with share screen. So I think all we hear is my actual voice. Cameraman, mute microphone, hide participants. Oh, maybe it's that. Show participants. Whatever. We'll go without the camera this week. No one really wants to see me anyways, so no big deal. All right. This is what was released this week, June 14th. This week in sci-fi, I use Barnes & Noble, their sci-fi and fantasy section of their website. I think it's fantastic. The editor is Joel Cunningham, and I think he does an amazing job. He puts out some pretty good articles, and every week on Tuesday he puts out the best books of that particular week, and he's been putting out quality content for Barnes & Noble Fantasy and Sci-Fi blog, and I really like that about him. All right, so let's go ahead and get right to it. It's over, the last installment of Naomi Novik's Temeraire series, the ninth and final installment, League of Dragons. The ninth and final installment of Novik's Temeraire series opens with Napoleon's ignominious retreat from his disastrous invasion of Russia, harried by Captain Lawrence and the dragon Temeraire. So if you've never read any of these are basically alternate history books that put dragons in historical battles and contexts. Very interesting. I've never really read any of her books, except for Uprooted. I've not read any of her Temeraire books. Napoleon's near miraculous escape from this disaster is as demoralizing as it was in our timeline, but even worse is what happens next. The French dictator makes an offer of humane treatment in autonomous lands to any dragon that will serve him, a rich offer for the often mistreated flying beasts. Meanwhile, Temeraire's egg and mate are stolen and transported to China, where his old enemy, the celestial dragon Leline, lies in the wait. Novik bids farewell to her magnum opus with a book that packs incredible detail, deep knowledge of history, and a simple, gleeful love of dragons into a remarkably satisfying conclusion to a remarkable series. From what I've heard, these books are good at the beginning, but as it goes on, it's not as good. So let's look up the new book. Let's see if anyone has read it yet. League of Dragons, Temeraire number 9. Right now it's at a 4.14 with 145 ratings. A little bit too close. Okay. Looks like none of my friends have read it. I know Rachel Kalinani has read this series. That's basically all I know about it is from listening to her talk about it. And she's a fan of the earlier books, but as it went on, it didn't get as strong. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Naomi Novik does after this. Everyone really loves her in Uprooted. I'm curious if she's going to go into the fantasy storytelling, fairy tale type stuff again or what. But yeah, that's Novik's new book. Here we go, the long-awaited sequel to O'Malley's The Rook. This is Still Leto by Daniel O'Malley. So many people loved The Rook, but so many people disliked it too. Like, it was one of those books where you either just got it or you didn't. It's very much I would say a spy fantasy type sci-fi. If that interests you, kind of like maybe The Kingsman, the movie that was out a couple years ago, that might interest you. The long incoming sequel to O'Malley's The Rook, an urban fantasy thriller about the Chigai, an elite British government agency that keeps control of things that go bump or slither or burst forth from the earth in a cloud of wriggling tentacles into London at night was totally worth the wait. The author raises the stakes in every way, allying the Chigai with their formerly and still kind of mortal enemies, the Grafters, against a fearsome foe who appears to be more than willing to unleash all manner of hell on earth, if it means putting a stop to the fragile peace between the long-warring organizations. Protagonist, my fun Miffinwee, Thomas is back, and joined by a host of memorable new allies and enemies, and the tension keeps increasing to near apocalyptic levels. We're already counting the days until book 3. Still Leto by Daniel O'Malley. Let's look up that. Wow, I bet. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna look up Still Leto. It's just gonna be all this like romance stuff. Okay, Daniel O'Malley. Then did I spell it? No, definitely not. Oh, there it is. Check files. All right, so it has a 4.2 right now with 268 ratings. Pretty good. See, any of my friends have read it. A lot of people really want to read it. A lot of people like the first one. Even my big-time reviewers that review a ton have not read it yet. Everyone's pretty excited about it. Let's see what random people have to say. Oh, Katie. Why am I not her friends? Okay. One moment as I add Katie as my friend. I have to answer that question. Midnight Tides is the last great book I read. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, back to Still Leto. There better be like some kick butt women in this with Still Leto shoes. All right, Katie, I have so much to say, but I'm going to take a few minutes to gather my thoughts together before I pen a review. Wonderful, though, absolutely wonderful. She gave it a 5. She reviewed it on May 31st. She absolutely adored it. So that's really cool. All right, so if you're interested in this series, definitely check this out. The first book has over 24,000 ratings and a 4.11, which is pretty good. We have many people giving it high scores. 5, a 4. Bree gave it a 4. 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4. Looks like I need to read this. 3. Nicole and Michael gave it a 3. So, yeah, this is definitely something I want to read, but I just haven't really got around to doing it. Let me pull up the chat just in case there's a chat going on. I think I enabled chat. I think I like the using my own software to do this instead of doing it on Hangouts. Oh, I can't find a chat. Maybe it created a thing on Twitter. Sorry for the... Aha! Found a thing on Twitter. Thank you, Twitter, for giving me a chat. All right, pop out that chat. There we go. Now I got my chat popped out in case anyone wants to chat about the books. All right. Yeah, The Rook. New book. Still Leto. Sounds cool. Okay, moving on. Mechanical Failure by Joe Zija is perhaps the toughest nut to crack in genre. Just know something for me. I have a hard time pronouncing that word. Genre writing. Every time I start reading it, I always think of something else. All right, genre writing. But Joe Zija's debut novel has done it. He's written a funny sci-fi novel that is actually really funny, earning a spot on the shelves next to John Scalzi's Red Shirts, and even, dare we say it, the works of the great Douglas Adams. Ooh, wow. How did he do it? Cashing in on years of real-world experience deep inside the strange bureaucracy of military life. Zija introduces us to the Meridian Fleet, a space-faring fighting force that has suffered a slide into irrelevance during the 200 years in counting peace. A slide not unlike the slides it's decidedly less professional officers take on their stomachs down a well-greased hallway. Ex-engineer R. Wilson Rogers has done his or her duty, such as it is, but when a smuggling charge leaves him between a rock and in the vacuum of space, he agrees to sign on for another term, only to discover that things have changed. No more noon beer lights and afternoon naps. The fleet is preparing for war, and Rogers is placed in command of a troop of cybernetic soldiers who can't shoot straight and may have no intention of doing so. This sounds epically fun. Oh, wow. Mechanical Failure by Joe Zija. Let's check this out. Mr. Joe Zija, his debut novel, and they're saying it's so good. Only 5 ratings so far, a 4.4. This actually came out in paperback, so that's pretty cool. Stephanie likes it. So yeah, paperback book, relatively cheap then. So yeah. Quite a few people are wanting to read it. Emily, Will, Brock, Polly, and Megan. A couple of my reviewers have not reviewed it yet. And no one wrote a review yet. So yeah, Mechanical Failure by Joe Zija. By Saga Press. Comparing it to Douglas Adams and Red Shirts, I don't know about that. That's giving it a lot of hype. So we'll see. I'm going to put it on my to-read maybe list because that does sound like fun. Here we go. The Invisible Library. I've heard of this one by Genevieve Cogman. We're all readers. We know the peculiar power of books to transport us and transform the world. Cogman makes that power literal in this popular series starter, a runaway hit when first published in the UK. So this is a little bit older, but it's just coming out in the US, I believe. The library is an organization that traverses space and time to collect unique books from alternate realities and catalog them for posterity. Into that fascinating premise is thrust Irene, a spy from the library, tasked with flitting into alternate realities, say a vampire infested in London, in order to acquire invaluable books for the collection. That's cool. So she goes into different alternate realities, different worlds where strange things are going on with their own little unique things to acquire invaluable books for the collection. It's kind of like The Librarians a little bit, that TV show, which is cool, but more of a fantasy thing. Okay, with trainee Kai in tow, Irene's latest quest goes awry when she has to delve into London's underworld to set things right, battling not only bloodsuckers but werewolves and fair folk as well. Fair folk. Okay, fair folk. She must rely on more than her fighting skills if she wants to make it out with the books and her body intact. That was an odd sentence at the end. And her body intact. That's kind of weird. Okay, Genevieve Cogman, Invisible Library. Wow, there are 3 books out. So, let's see. How we doing here? Over 5,000 ratings. 3.73. I don't know. Tor UK with this edition. My friend Catherine gave it a 3. You guys probably follow her. Patty's Book 4. Frank gave it a 3. Justine gave it a 3. Victoria gave it a 1. Wow. A lot of people want to read it, though. Jessica Strider says, wonderful concept, interesting world, fun characters. Cons, minor quibbles. Okay. Mogsy, one of my favorite reviewers from the Bibulo Sanctum. She gave it a 3.5. Speaking as someone who loves to read, I just can't help but get these warm, fuzzy feelings for books about libraries. After all, what could be better for an avid bookworm than being immersed in a story about a place filled with books, and more books? Of course. Let's see. What does she have to negative to say about this? The plot of the Invisible Library is relatively simple. It's also a light read that has a distinct feel of being the first book in the series. There's room to grow in terms of character development and world building. All right, so yeah. We'll see how the second book is done. 3.73. Second book has a 4.06, which is pretty good. The third book is coming out this year, December 15th, probably in the UK. I wanted to read that, but I don't know. I'm gonna wait. Need more info on the Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. It is a paperback, relatively cheap. Here we go. 9 Fox Gambit by Yoon Ha Lee. I've seen some reviews of this so far. I was interested in this until I learned more about it. Yoon Ha Lee's short fiction has been praised for its elegant prose, outsized ephemeral ambition, and rigorous technical detail. Hard SF space opera from a mathematician and data analyst. One of those times you put a bunch of boring words together and the result is only awesome. Ordered to retake a fortress captured by heretical rebels, and with no other way to win, Captain Kel Cheris must welcome into her head the digitalized consciousness of Shuos Jado, an infamous military strategist who has been exiled to machine space ever since he engineered a disastrous campaign that left an entire planet dead. Yikes, that's a mistake. Together, they will unlock a galaxy-wide conspiracy that could disrupt the entirety of their rigid, ordered, highly mathematical society, throwing everyone into chaos. This is one of the most challenging, mind-expanding new sci-fi books you'll read this year. I had a lot of hype with this book. I actually was going to buy this for sure this year. But I read some reviews, and I don't know if this is my thing. I don't know. 3.83 at the moment, 41 ratings. Joe is the guy I watched his review for. Check out Joe. Joe is just killing it this year with reviews. He is Final Joe Blow on YouTube. Definitely at him. Just killing it with reviews. Doing so well. And he gave it a 4. He was pretty impressed with it. The dynamic between the Cheris and Judeo with the person in her head and everything was interesting to him. And he liked the setting and all that. It's a military science fiction novel with an unusual setting and writing style that, whilst being a little confusing at times, makes for a very worthwhile book with depth and creativity. Already looking forward to the second in the trilogy. Joe liked it. That says a lot. Let's see if any of the other people I follow, a lot of people want to read it. Mogsy, once again, she gave it a 3. She's torn on this one. This book gave me a real struggle. One of the most fascinating sci-fi novels I've read. But in the end, she only gave it a 3. Inconsistent pacing. So if inconsistent pacing is something you worry about, then maybe just know that going into it. Not bad. I still want to read it, but I'm gonna wait. Okay, here we go. Gail Z. Martin, new book, The Shadowed Path. For those who love the character of John Mark von Henningen and March's Chronicles of the Necromancer series, books that I have not read. This spin-off volume is a must-read, collecting a host of short stories that fill in the gaps in his life. So this is a collection of short stories about a character from the Necromancer series, Chronicles of Necromancer. If you guys are interested in that, let's go ahead and look up the first. There we go. The Summoner, Chronicles of Necromancer. Hey, if you guys like Necromancers in your fantasy, this is one of the few series that they have a really prominent role in. The very first book has a 3.7, almost 10,000 ratings. So yeah. Let's see. I have friends that did a 5, one that says 3. This is one of those books that a lot of people wants to read, but it's one of those books where it gets put off on TBRs because you always find something else. Like, so many people want to read it, and people just have it on their shelves. But it's just one of those. And Gail Z. Martin's kind of that type of author too. She just hasn't really hit a level where everyone wants to read her books, and I think that's just because people just aren't giving her a chance. I don't know. I haven't read it. Christine Garner says, "Bad Gale, just let the story go. I like the main ones, but just no." So the original series was pretty good, Christine. Because I would like to try them. Okay, let's see. Moving on. Spells of Blood and Kin by Claire Humphrey. This blood-soaked fantasy debut, Blood-Soaked, is much more than another familiar story of love and shapeshifters. When her grandmother dies, 22-year-old Lisa Nevsky takes over her position as their small community's folk healer. But she's also inherited a far greater responsibility, paying her grandmother's debt to Maxim Volkov, a dangerous stranger inflicted with a bloodlust he can't control. Okay, so this is like urban fantasy, vampire-ish type thing. Claire Humphrey, Spells of Blood and Kin. Let's see how this is doing. Oh, 3.32. Christine, yeah, the first two especially. The last two of the 4 are settling the world down. Cool. I'm glad you like the first 2. Do I follow you on Goodreads? If I don't, let me know. Or add me. That'd be great. Maybe you're the one that gave it a good score. I think you are, actually. I'm just going to check real quick. That's what I can do. It's live. Yeah, the 5 stars. Yeah, you are. I'm pretty sure it was Christine at the top. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. You know, sometimes I just go by the picture of people. And, yeah. Thank you for rating so many books, because when I go and see your ratings, I take notice. Okay. Spells of Blood and Kin, Paranormal World, Paranormal. All right. Anyone read it? Mogsy from Bibliosanctum reads so much. She gave it a 3.5. Jessica Strider gave it a 4. Pros, introverted protagonist. Hey, if you guys like introverted protagonists, paranormal, this is your thing. Man versus himself, plot, awkward situational and dry humor, minor romance elements. And the cons, I wonder where the guy got all his money. All right. So if you're into paranormal, check that out. Here we go. Escapology by Ren Warham. Long-lived resurgent cyberpunk. Ren Warham's electric debut is about Shock Pow, a tech whiz who's a legendary haunt in the virtual world and a total fail in the offline world of the slip. Okay. Conned into participating in a digital heist by an ex-flame, he is drawn into a seedy world of assassins, crime lords, and corporate espionage. Warham crafts an inventive world that upends familiar tropes, spinning a fast-moving plot that races from what threat to next, in breathless, laser-bright prose. Okay. So, I'm getting some maybe Zero World feels from this. Zero World from last year. A lot of people like that. Escapology, 3.6, only 5 ratings, 4 reviews. Has a giveaway. Keely gave it a 4. So glad to have Keely back on BookTube and reviewing stuff. She's awesome. She gave it a 4. 3, 3, 4. Cyberpunk at its best, Gary Thompson. So if you're looking for cyberpunk, something kind of fun, Escapology by Ren Worm. Huh. All right. Okay, Terry Pratchett, Stephen Baxter, The Long Cosmos. It was a sad day, for it was a day that saw the release of the last Terry Pratchett novel, even. I don't understand that sentence. Okay, so this is basically the last Terry Pratchett book, which is sad. Series co-writer Stephen Baxter, working from the late author's story outlines and his existing plot threads, brings to close the saga of The Long Earth. So it's the last book, guys. The Long Cosmos, The Long Earth series. As humanity continues to adjust to its new existences, stretching across countless parallel yet vastly different versions of our world, the next step of our journey into a stranger world is heralded by the receipt of a seemingly simple message: join us. But the interdimensional greeting also contains hidden instructions for an artificial intelligence the size of a continent. As all of humanity comes together to build it, one explorer encounters a band of strange creatures who may hold the key to discovering the true purpose of the Long Earth and unlock the ultimate destiny of mankind. Huh. Has anyone read any of these books by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter? If you have, are they any good? The Long Cosmos. This is the 5th book. You see, I see these books everywhere. Okay, so it's a 5-book series, 3.98, so almost a 4. 40 ratings. Looks like none of my friends have read it. I think by this time, people are so, they love this series so much by now that this should get good scores and people should love it. And being Terry Pratchett's last book that he worked on, so yeah. All right, moving on. False Hearts by Laura Lamb. Time we got. I'm going way too slow. False Hearts by Laura Lamb. This near-future thriller has an irresistible premise unlike any we've encountered before. 2 formerly cloistered conjoined twin sisters are pulled into a deadly criminal world when one of them is accused of murder and the other is given a chance to go undercover to clear her name. Cool. Stay up all night reading, then shelve it next to Lauren Buke's Bloody Brilliant, The Shining, and Broken Monsters. Very cool. Yeah, I think Rachel did too, Christine. All right, so False Hearts. I've been hearing some hype about this one. False Hearts #1. It's by Macmillan, about 400 pages. Connor gave it a 5. He put out a non-spoiler video review of it. He loved it. Connor from Connor's Books, something like that. Yeah, Connor doesn't really give out 5s a lot, so like a whole ton. So that's cool. Oh yeah, so this is I think this is 2 African American twins. Well, this person has her reviewed as just a bunch of pictures. People liked it a lot. 4.3, new book. 44 ratings. That's pretty good. I have this on my to read maybe. I think it sounds good. Born in the Water. We're gonna skip that one. Patricia A. McKillop, winner of the World Fantasy Award for Lifetime Achievement. Dreams of Distant Shores. Her latest release is a short fiction collection. Short fiction collection. Some like short pieces that range from an ecology, fairy tale novella to a story of witches and mermaids. Yeah, if you guys like short fiction, Patricia A. McKillop just put out a new short fiction book. Someone just read this. I saw it yesterday. Has a 4.0, 43 ratings. Caitlin gave it a 3. She is the one that read it. This is my first Patricia A. McKillop book, and I'm glad that this is the start point for me because this is a collection of short stories. She was pleasantly surprised. She really liked a few of them, but the other ones, not so much. She says, I think she surprised me a little with her stories being a bit more up-to-date than I was anticipating. Yet she has a timeless quality to them, too, because of the focus of them. She gave it a 3.5, a solid collection with most of them being pretty interesting, particularly the longer ones. Very cool. So that's a pretty decent review. 4.5, 4s, 5s. So this is decent. Short fiction fans, there you go. Patricia McKillop. Okay, Return of Souls by Andy Remick. Tor.com Publishing releases the second of 3 linked novellas coming this year from Andy Remick. This picture reminds me so much of Wolfenstein. That game. Anyways, after a horrific experience in the trenches of the Great War, in A Song for No Man's Land, Private Jones awakens to find himself in a strange new realm, being cared for by a mysterious young woman who tells him a legend of a massive iron beast that can end the conflict, provided they can escape death long enough to find it. Ooh, maybe it's a never mind. That's a bad joke. I shouldn't go there. What's it called? Return to Souls. Oh, this guy has Return to Souls. There it is. 3.25, only 4 ratings, 4 reviews. This is a Tor.com novella, 208 pages, paperback. Michael Hicks says, we're now 2 books into Andy Remick's ongoing A Song for No Man's Land series. I have to admit that I'll be taking a pass on the rest. I'm just simply not connecting to the material, and we'll have to chalk it up to the old "it's not you, Mr. Remick, it's me" excuse. So, yeah. The few reviews that it has, not so great, but the Tor.com novellas, I mean, they're quality stuff, so I can't see how it can go wrong. Let's see has anyone read the first one? A Song for No Man's Land. Oh, I remember this cover. At 3.24? 67 ratings. Tammy gave it a 4. To be reviewed. Let's check this out. Filter. Yeah, there's only 6 5 stars, 24 stars, 27 3 stars, 12 2. I'll have to wait on that one. All right, let's go to Amazon. Let's wrap this up soon. Wow, I'm way over time today. Oh, well. Okay, let's look at what came out. If there's anything else that I'm missing, I am at Last 30 Days, Science Fiction and Fantasy hardcover on Amazon. So we have still Leto, by O'Malley. Meg, Night Stalkers by Steve Alton. The 5th installment of his New York Times best-selling Meg series. Night Stalkers picks up where Meg held his aquarium left off. Check out this picture. There's a big old sharks. Good night. Okay. Oh. Hopefully you guys can't see my Amazon information. So yeah. Looks like a new thriller horror thing. What's sharks? League of Dragons, Long Cosmos, Allegiance of Honor, Psy Changelings. Huh. The Book of Esther, a novel by Emily Barton. Interesting. What if an empire of Jewish warriors that really existed in the Middle Ages had never fallen? It was the only thing standing between Hitler and his conquest of Russia. Ooh, alternate history. Eastern Europe, August 1942. That's pretty neat. The Book of Esther is a profound saga of war, technology, mysticism, power, and faith. This novel is simultaneously a steampunk Joan of Arc and a genre-bending tale of a counterfactual Jewish state by a writer who invents worlds. New Yorker says it is a stunning achievement, reminiscent of Michael Chabon's The Yiddish Policeman's Union and Philip Roth's The Plot Against America. Wow. The Book of Esther reaffirms Barton's place as one of her generation's most gifted storytellers. Emily Barton, The Book of Esther. That's probably a lot of, that might be relatively popular. There's Mechanical Failure. Oh, it's in hardcover too. Huh. There's a Harper Hall collection that came out. Dragon Song, Dragon Singer, and Dragon Drums, all in hardback. Wow, for $32.38. The Mermaid's Secret, a novel. Huh. All right, let's see what came out in paperback. The Familiar, Volume 3. I don't think people are really caring for this. 26 volumes or however many volumes he wanted to do. It's just too many. I would read it if it was only like a trilogy or maybe 5 books, but why would I read a series that's 20 some books and know that it's going to be that long right at the beginning? I'm sorry, Mark Z. Danielewski. You might have written my favorite book, one of my favorite books, sorry, but I will not try The Familiar. Let's see. The Cogman book. If I Could Turn Back Time, a novel. The Insides. What is this? That's a pig. With the Insides, this is a Robin Sloan, author of Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. With the Insides, Jeremy P. Bushnell doesn't do much mash genres together. Doesn't so much mash genres together as slice them apart to find the fillets. It's a literary urban fantasy with sharp things to say about the way we live now, darkened by a touch of Scandinavian thriller, rich and urgent and weird, a novel that defies categorization but demands to be consumed. Cool. Ollie Kruger's days as a punk kid practicing street magic are mostly behind her. Are mostly behind her. All right, typos in your synopsis. I was actually thinking about looking this up some more. Anyways, now she's a butcher at Carnage, a high-end restaurant offering deconstructed takes on meat. And I lost interest. Into Everywhere by Paul McCauley. Humanity's future has been disrupted and shaped by mysterious alien Jackaroo. Okay, moving on. Jackaroo. Come on, if you're going to make a book, why would you name the big antagonist Jackaroo? I'm being kind of a jerk, but it's silly. Okay, The Time Key by Melanie Bateman. When Stanley saves a man, he's given a mysterious device that allows him to travel through time, but he soon learns that changing his past doesn't necessarily lead to a better future. Traveling over 100 years into the future may be the only way Stanley can change his fate and save his family. Huh. This is by publisher Cedar Fort, Inc. Oh, it's yeah. It's a 23-year-old author. I think it's amazing that authors are getting a shot at a young age. It's so different to what it used to be, and it's creating interesting books. I think it's very cool. Alexander Jodorowsky's Screaming Planet. That's the guy that did something with the Dune, right? A collection of sci-fi short stories, all written by Alexander Jodorowsky, illustrated by talent from various countries and different graphic traditions. Huh. That's cool. I probably won't get it, but it's interesting to know that it's there. Orbs, a science fiction thriller. This is a new Los Nifinium. T. Frohawk. Collected together for the first time, T. Frohawk's 3 novellas, In Midnight Silence, Without Light or Guide, The Second Death. It brings to life the world of Los Nifinium. I've heard of this guy. I forget who I heard it from. Los Nifinium. Oh, let's check out the first one. See, this is the first one. Got a 4.16, 100 ratings. Oh, Lisa, that's who I heard it from. She gave it a 4. Christy from Book Frivolity gave it a 5. 4, 5. Mark Lawrence gave it a 5. Teresa Frockhart. Let's check this out. This is the first one. The fate of mankind has nothing to do with mankind. Interesting. Born of an angel and a demon, Diego Alvarez is a singular being in a country torn by a looming civil war in a spiritual struggle between the forces of angels and demons. With his allegiance to no one but his partner, Miguel, or Miguel, whatever, he is content to simply live in Barcelona, caring only for the men he loves and the music he makes. And neither side is satisfied to let him lead his domesticated life. And knowing they can't get to him directly, they do the one thing he's always feared. They go after Miguel. You don't go after a man's guy. Now, in order to save his lover's life, he is forced by an angel to perform a gruesome task, feed a child to the demon Moloch, in exchange for a coin that will limit the extent of the world's next war. Ugh. The mission is fraught with danger. The time he has to accomplish it is limited, and the child he has to sacrifice is a son Diego never knew existed. Oh, the twist! A lyrical tale in the world of music and magic. T. Frohawk's In Midnight Silence shows the lengths a man will go to save the people he loves, and the sides he'll choose when the sidelines are no longer an option. Oh yeah, you have this one over here. This actually sounds like fun. I'm gonna add the all 3 novellas are in one book. That's this right here. This sounds fun. Like, seriously. I don't read paranormal fantasy, something like that. I don't really read that very much. But this sounds like it's good. Like, the synopsis of that first book sounds a lot of fun. Look at this. The first book has a 4.616 with 100 ratings. The second one has a 4.35. The third one has a 4.41. That's decent. Urban fantasy, paranormal, demons, angels. If that's your thing, I think you probably will like this trilogy. $8. $8 on Amazon. Man, and I'm on a Kindle, $2.99. Why don't I have a Kindle? $2.99. I would have to. Is this on Barnes and Noble? I have a Nook. I'm sorry, guys. I have a Nook. I bought it when I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Look at that. $2.99 for the Nook book as well. For all 3 of these novellas. And all the novellas are $1. I'm on a book buying ban, but boy, it sounds like so much fun. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I don't think there's much left. Yeah, not much left. A cure for suicide. Huh. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate everyone that stopped by. And the things that I'm most interested in, honestly, this last thing I looked at, this lost Nephilium, I think that sounds like a fun urban fantasy, paranormal fantasy. I think that sounds great. Other than that, I want to read The Rook more now. And I want to see what people think of this Joe Zija mechanical failure. And I want to find out more about the false hearts. That's about it. So I appreciate everyone watching. I hope everyone has a great day. I will talk to everyone later. Too bad I couldn't get the camera to work in the corner, but oh well. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.